is going on, my party people? You know who I am. You know what I do. Back with another podcast. Before we start, I just want to say for those of you who cannot tune into this podcast live, I will be posting it on Spotify so you can listen to it at your leisure. So, we're going to try to do things a little bit different today. And we're going to try to stick to actual factuals and possibly not get too overwhelmed with raw emotion today. Right? All right. So, with that being said, I know some people that watches the podcast rather than listen to it. They can see what the banner is saying. And for those that's going to listen on Spotify, my banner says Silly Rabbit, the joke's on you. And the banner scrolling at the bottom of my screen right now is simply because um yeah, it's simply because another RP disappointment. So basically was in a city, a server, if you will. And I just want to say this. This is solely based upon my experience, solely based upon my interaction, solely based upon my thoughts, solely based upon what I feel should be right. So, with that being said, Red or Misfit, whatever your Discord name is, you owe me a conversation. You may not feel like you do, but you do. So, with that being said, perfect. With that being said, the server I'm talking about is none other, you guessed it, Mad Rabbit themselves. So, I'm not really sure or really positive if they did research on the group of people that they let in their server. But I'm the type of person, I'm a nice guy. I'm a very, very nice guy. I'm all for being a team player. I'm all for doing what it takes to get the job done. But when I'm handled in a certain way, in a certain unprofessional way, and let's get everything clear before I get this later. Oh, well, being staff on Discord, you're not paid. So it's just volunteer work, yes, but you're still dealing with a community. You're still dealing with other people. You're still interacting with other people. And so, with that being said, if you deal with people, you have to deal with them accordingly, right? You can't sit here and have attitude. You can't sit here and be annoyed that people are not are bothering you, right? So with that being said, with that being said, Red, talking to you again. You can't really go out and be sneaky, right? So understand something. Yes, there's rules, and yes, people can get banned, and there's something in my eye. But when you ban people, they're owed an explanation. There shouldn't be no surprises about getting banned, right? And I do understand as to where people should know what to do and what not to do, right? But at the same time, moderators and admins and people of power should conduct themselves accordingly. Now, I said in a few of my last podcast episodes that I am, in sort of way, the voice of the voiceless, right? Here's the thing. I personally have a problem with how people was treated in the last server. And the fact of the matter is that people that was treated the way they was treated was uncalled for. So let's get right down into the juiciness, right? Let's call a spade a spade. I was banned from the server for what they call poaching. So let's tell the whole story because I watched the whole story unfold. I didn't comment on it, but I watched the whole story unfold. There was an altercation with two of the members or whatever. One of the members used the N word. Okay. It escalated from there without any warning, without any candor or alludeness to he was going to get banned. Red banned him. So, I said, okay, well, I'm working on the city. I'm starting the city. Let me DM him. See what's going on and everything like that. So I DM him, tell him, hey, if you're looking for a new city, shoot him the link. In my opinion, that's not poaching. You banned him. So I mean, he's no longer part of your community. Never did she specify you're getting banned, you're getting perma banned, you're getting temporarily banned. Just banned. He was under the assumption that he was perma banned. So I'm like, hey, one server's trash could be another server's treasure. He was not a member of the server when I sent him my invite link, right? Got banned for poaching. And never got a conversation. Never got a, okay, we see this as poaching because of this, that, and the third. Never got a, hey, someone told us that you sent them an invite link to another Discord that's connected to another city. That's not tolerated. You do it again, you're gone. So basically, I got kicked from a server for what they saw as poaching, for what they believed was poaching. But I was never given a conversation. I was never talked to. I was never said to, hey, this came to our attention. You want to explain yourself? And a lot of times I feel like people in the role of admin or moderator or trial mod or head of staff or developer or whatever you may be, I feel like some people let the power go to their head. right? And people say it's the cops that ruin the city that can make or break a city. People say it's the crims that can make or break a city. The staff can make or break the community. And why I say that is I simply say this is because you have some staff, not all, but you have some staff that figure, oh, because they're staff and they're in city admin, they can talk to people, treat people, or do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. And that's not the case. So basically, what tends to happen is there becomes a breakdown in the community. It becomes staff versus community. Unbeknownst to anybody, that's what happens. That's what always seems to happen. And I find that power gaming should be punishable across the board to anybody and everybody if there is a rule in place for power gaming. If you're an admin or a developer or whatever you may be that grants you the powers of in city admin and you use those to your advantage, then you're just giving the whole community and the whole server a bad name because the server admins and the Discord moderators are the people you go to. You're supposed to be able to trust them. You're supposed to be able to go to them and know that they're going to do the right thing and handle their powers with responsibility and not use it for personal gain. But most staff members use some type of power for their personal gain. I'm not saying all, but there's some. I mean, personally, the city I'm in now, I'm staff, and the communication between us is great. The communication from us to the city is great. The communication from us to the Discord community is great. There's really not many, there's really no issues in the Discord, so to speak. Everyone has the ability and the authority to voice their opinion without getting their head chewed off or without making it feel like they're wrong for having an opinion. Everybody is comfortable and is free to say whatever they want to say. And why am I buffering? So it seems like, hey, what's going up, Tack? So it seems like moderators and city admins feel like they can treat people however they want to treat them. And I'll say it again. I'm going to get the omen in a second. But Red, I'm not going to stop until you give me my conversation. You don't ban people without talking to them or telling them why you're banning them. It doesn't matter to me anyway, shape, or form. It's just a respect thing. You give admins and moderators a bad name when you do stuff like that. No problem, Blackout. I appreciate you. You tend to lose the respect of your community when you move in sneaky ways. And to pull people into your city under false pretenses is really, really crazy. Lag rabbits out, huh? Oh yeah, I got banned for what they called poaching after I invited a banned former member to the city that I'm running. But they decided to unban him, and I'm assuming he snitched and they banned me. It is what it is. Rules are rules. I'm not doubting that. But what I'm contesting is simply this. What's going on, Redbeard? What I'm contesting is simply this. If you're gonna ban me, fine. Cool, no problem. Talk to me. Let me know you're gonna ban me. Don't have me try and go say something in a Discord and then the Discord's gone. And it's like, what the fuck happened here? And it's like you're telling other people, oh, he got banned for poaching, but you're not talking to me. Like, how does that work? So I got to hear from a third party that I got banned for poaching when obviously she doesn't even know what the meaning of poaching is. Because if I was poaching, then I would have approached him before they said he was banned, before I checked the Discord and seen if his name was under the online status, and it wasn't. We just so happened to have been friends from before. So the fact of the matter is simply this. Isn't that funny, Redbeard? I thought you would like that. So here's my thing, right? You want to sit here and talk about poaching. Let's call a spade a spade. Even though things wasn't going right in the previous city, we got poached. Okay? Well, yeah, I got poached. Other people was looking for another city. I got poached. I got lied to. I got tricked. So let's call a spade a spade. And like I said, I'm gonna try to do this video different than I do other RP videos, but I can't make no promises. But anyway, let's call a spade, right? So the chief of troopers was talking to a guy. The guy's name is Omen. Cool. I was told Omen's the owner. He's also a dev. He doesn't play. He just devs. Okay, cool. No problem. Seems like a pretty sweet deal. Oh yeah, you can come over as chief of EMS. You can run your department however you see fit. We can put you in the firehouse. You can do this. You can do that. There's no micromanagement. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. Bullshit. 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 Get there. It's like pulling fucking teeth to get people to do things. Oh, about the time you start and you fly in the city, there'll be locks on your doors. How many times did I have to ask for locks on my doors? Oh yeah, when you get in your first shift, we'll have your application sent ready. Fighting for staff because number one, the dev is not the owner. Turns out a fucktard named Med1 David is the owner. Barely fucking on. He's an EMS chief, just hiring fucking people in the Discord, but never on to train them. And then they all get transferred to me, and I have a whole group of people that I have to train, and it's just me. Yeah, great, right? Great setup. So then PD proceeds to be dickheads because none of my EMS is on at the same time because we're all on different time zones. So so here's the deal, right? All different time zones. We had active fire script as well, which they didn't break up fire EMS, so we did both jobs. So if I'm the only one on and I'm putting out a fire and PD is like blah 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 to EMS, I clearly say, hey, EMS is putting out a fire. Be right with you. I just keep getting bombarded and bombarded and bombarded. EMS, 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 EMS. Then I hear on the radio, oh, EMS don't do their job. Blah, blah, blah. Can someone fly on EMS so we actually have EMS? Then when that person flies on EMS, they get to see, oh, wow, it's really a lot going on for EMS. more than one person can handle. Then I get the, hey, I'm sorry, I just fuck you. Because you thought you could do a better job than me. And now you see you getting your ass handed to you like I'm getting my ass handed to me. Now it's sorry. Um, yeah, no thank you. But the main thing that peeved me off about Mad Rabbit is the fact that a staff member would say something to you in DMs and then in public say something totally different. Oh, by the way, Red, I still have all the DMs between us, by the way. So depending on how long it take you to give me my conversation will determine what I do with those DMs. So if anybody that's watching or that's gonna listen later is still friends with Red, tell us you need to get in contact with me ASAP. So now, here's the deal, right? Everyone was kumbaya and la 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 in the beginning, promising us this, promising us that, doing this, doing that. None of it got done. You can't run a city with 20 to 30 to 40 people, each of them having multiple vehicles with no garages. Because what happens is you get lag, which in city terms we call headaches. You get headaches, right? And then what happens when you get too many headaches, you get a head pop. So, yeah, no garages. You just park your car where you park it, and you have to come back in 3 days to move it, or it goes to the impound. Which means if the key fobs is acting up, which a lot of the times they were, you couldn't lock your vehicles. So anyone could just come up and take your car. That was their bright idea. The only people that had garages was PD, EMS, and that's it. PD, EMS, and troopers. That's it. Those are the only people that had garages. And their police station, firehouse, and pillbox had a garage. Those were the only things that had garages. If you wasn't a Leo EMS, then you didn't get a garage, which I never understood how that made logical sense. Ever. But yet, instead of people doing what's right for the city, people was bringing in friends and girlfriends and this, that, and the third, and they just wanted to play together. Like one couple, one was a trooper, the guy was a trooper, the girl was an EMS, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, are we playing GTA RP or are we just coupling up with everything? Yeah, fix the bot, please, Redbeard. I've never I never fixed it from when Crackback set it up. But yeah, I've been to a few cities. To I've been to a lot of cities. But here's the thing. All right, cool. Here's the thing, right? I've been to a few cities and I think only two so far that I've participated in that I wasn't staff. Well, no, I was kind of staff in the other one, so I'm gonna say one that I wasn't staff and one that I was kind of staff that I actually enjoyed playing in. And like I said before, I'm gonna name names this time because yeah, I've been in quite a few cities, and the only cities that I never really had, well, Sundown I had some issues with, but it wasn't nothing that I couldn't handle. It was just with certain people, not the city. um so Sundown was a good city I was in. Unfortunately, they had to shut down. And honestly, Prestige. Those were the only two good cities I was in that I had no issues, no problems, nothing I can say bad about them at all. But out of all the cities I've been in, and I can only name two, that there wasn't an issue. That says a lot about the RP community, right? Oh, no question, Tack. I mean, it was beautiful there. Like, everyone talked to each other. We could bounce ideas off of each other. That's how a city's supposed to be. But, like Redbeard said, a lot of failing cities have terrible ownership and terrible admins. Dream Life, for example. We can name names. Dream Life. Terrible owner, terrible admins. True Life. Really don't believe Cletus knew what the fuck he was doing half the time. But hey, when you got the money to burn, I guess you just say, hey, I want to open the city. And you open the city and you just pretty much let the inmates run the asylum. Fate RP. What can I say? Yeah, I I can get what you tack, but yeah. Um I'm gonna talk to you in DMs about that. Because the way it went down was kind of crazy. On the other side of things, not on your part, but yeah, I'll talk to you about that in DMs. But yeah, so so that would have been great if they would have advertised the city and brought more knowledgeable people on board. Fate, True Life, and Dream Life have fun cities, but shitty fucking owners. Yeah, you're 100% right, Redbeard. I don't think really it was the advertising for Sundown. I think it was mainly they didn't want to accept any help. I think that was the issue. Like they wanted to do everything on their own, which is admirable, right? But I mean, I think if they had accepted help earlier in the game, I don't think they would have had to shut down or whatever. Like I think if they had accepted a little help or a merger that sounded beneficial to them, they would have succeeded. But like I said, to each his own. Can't fault people for wanting to save money. So I don't fault them for that. But as far as Dream Life and True Life and Fate, well, I can talk for hours about Fate, as you guys know, because it was a 4.5 hour video. So I can talk forever about Fate, but we're not going to go down that wormhole right now, okay? Where we are going to steer to is if you promise people things for the city, and let me just go on record and say, before I finish my statement, let me just go on the record and say, I do truly believe that you cannot have a successful city without a strong law enforcement presence. Let me explain why I say that. Because if you have a city that's overrun by crims and no law enforcement, then the crims are going to start getting bored and just start VDMing and RDMing for no fucking reason, right? Because it's only certain things you can do with a certain amount of cops on. So if you only have 6, 7, 8, 9 cops, and only 3 of them is on at a time, and you could only rob the three same locations, or commit the same petty crimes, or go to the same places to do the same things, you think that they're not going to get tired and say, fuck it, we're just going to start shooting locals. We're just going to start shooting at cops. We're just going to start robbing other players. We're just going to run them over with the cars. Do something to entertain us. You cannot have a successful city without a strong law enforcement presence. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying have 30 cops on at a time and have 10 criminals. Like, that's not fair either. But, I mean, you want to have enough law enforcement to where a good 8, 9 of them can be off, but you still have enough in the city to where all the crimes are open and all the places to rob is open, and you can do gang wars and all this other stuff and blah blah blah. Granted, gang wars are not locked or capped to how many cops are on, but it's in the rules. You can't have a gang war unless it's 5 cops on. You can't have a gang war unless it's 6 cops on, and it's always a high crazy number. Like, if you know your city don't host 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cops at a time, why would you put in your rules you can't have gang wars unless it's 5 cops on? You can't have gang wars unless it's 6 cops on. Put it to the max that your city hosts. So if you have 4 cops on at a time, you can't have gang wars unless there's 3 cops on. At least there's some incentive for the crims to come on. There's some incentive for the police to come on. Because I can't speak for nobody else. But I know if I'm doing EMS, I don't want to sit there just driving my ambulance around waiting for something to happen. I don't want to be sitting there staring at my computer screen, sitting at my firehouse, waiting for something to go down. You got to find the right balance. You got to find the right balance between criminals and law enforcement, right? And then even if you find that right balance, then you got to find the right balance for EMS, because just going out putting out random fires, that's going to get boring after a while. So you have to make sure criminals are willing to hurt people and get hurt themselves, so EMS has something to do. Because getting in high-speed chases with police and it's ending in you getting caught and going to jail, but there's no injuries, what's the point? It is. It is. It's boring to no end. Boring to no end. And I mean, Tat can attest to this. Like, I know there's times he sat at his computer for a couple of hours waiting for something to do. I've sat at my computer for a couple of hours waiting for something to do. Honestly, I've actually taken naps at my computer waiting for something to do. So, I mean, everyone wants to play the blame game. This is not what I'm doing. I'm not placing the blame on any sole person except Red. Red, I'm placing blame on you. 100% man, specifically for us that stream, it makes it rough. Yep, 100%. I agree with you 100%. So, my thing about everything is simply this, right? If you're going to be irritated by people putting in tickets, right? Oh, speaking of tickets, it was said in Mad Rabbit in an announcement to everybody, right? If you're going to put in tickets, make sure it's something that we're not aware of. That was the first one. Then she said, please don't make tickets unless you reach out to an admin first. If an admin can fix it right then and there, there's no need to put in a ticket, so we can keep everything organized. So which is it? Do you want us to put in a ticket, or do you want us to talk to an admin first? But then when we talk to an admin, what's the first thing the admin says? Put in a ticket. Put in a ticket. So we can't put in tickets unless you tell us to put in a ticket. But then you tell us there's too many tickets going out and we have to slow down and we have to wait for y'all to organize all the tickets and get to them and all this other shit and blah 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 and yada yada yada. So is it we put in tickets only when you want them to? The ticket system is to keep admins from being overwhelmed. Yeah, exactly. But when the admin is telling you that you're putting in too many tickets, to talk to an admin first, and then when we talk to her, she's like, "Why are you DMing me? Put in a ticket and I'll get to it when I have time." What are you supposed to do? And then when something's broken and no one reports it and they have to find out on their own, well, why know I'm putting a ticket? Because you told us we was putting in too many tickets. And then when you say come to you and we come to you, you bite our heads off. If you have that many tickets, then there's a bigger issue. Yeah, exactly. Everything, I promise you, everything that was promised to us was 100% not delivered on. 100%. I was told that I wouldn't have problems getting EMS people because there's a lot of people applying for EMS. There was no one applying for EMS. That's why the friends and the girlfriends and everything else came into play because there wasn't no one applying for EMS. And then when they did apply for EMS, the owner would just hire them and there wouldn't be no interview. They wouldn't know what the fuck they was doing. They would get bored of just waiting for something to do and they would leave the Discord. So it's like, what the fuck? And it's like, you don't know what side to you don't know who to turn to. EMS is the hardest to recruit for. I agree because for the simple fact is all you do is sit and wait for someone to get hurt. And then when they get hurt, it's hard to RP it out because like you just have to type things to fill in the gaps. Like it would be cool if like, there was a way where we could actually like check vitals or we can actually like put them on a gurney or something like that. I mean, one city had it, but it was always fucking broken, so it never worked. But I mean, you revive them and then you have to build them like right there on the spot, like and like it the way Shaw said he's gonna have that system. What system? Hey, Maestro, what's going on? Which system are you referring to, Redbeard? You talking about the EMS system? I can't get back to my chat. So what I feel is this, right? Um I believe we are. I don't think it's gonna be available at launch, but I think I think they're gonna look for a script for it. Um, I know they're putting in some shit now. For the city. Um, yeah, but I know there's a lot of cool shit that they're working on that they said we can't discuss. But yeah, it's a lot of cool shit they're working on. It's a merger between two cities right now. Like we we started out as one, but then another city came to the owner or whatever and like proposed a deal. So like we merged with another city. So we're Bad Boy City Mafia, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of cool shit coming to the city. Um, there's some unique things coming to the mechanic job. There some cool things coming for EMS. Um, and we're recruiting for PD, but we have department heads to do that already. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recruit for mechanics and EMS. That's what I'm gonna do until we get an EMS chief, and then I'm gonna leave EMS to whoever is the EMS chief. But yeah, but that's the point I was trying to make, right? Like we work together in the city that I'm in now, or whatever. I'm head of staff, so we work together. If the owner needs something done that he can't get to, I'll do it or whatever. If I can't get to it, then one of the co-owners will do it. Shit like that. Like we all work together. We bounce off each other or whatever, right? So that way, the dev focus on the deving. We handle everything else: the tickets, the questions, all that other extra good shit, the recruiting, the welcoming, all that other shit. Um, we do have the recycle system in there, Redbeard. I can tell you that. So just like Sundown, you have to go to the recycling plant to get materials to have it on you to fix cars. So that's that system we do have in there, which I don't think it's too bad. I'm gonna try and get a tow truck system put in there for the mechanics, and I want to try and make it where instead of troopers having their own tow trucks, that the mechanics get the tows for PD, so that way there'll be a little extra more money. We drop it off at the impound lot and we get paid like that or whatever, or the person that picks it up has to contact us to release it and they pay us to get it released or some shit like that. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. But yeah, that's just a little bit of the shit that I'm working on, as well as working on Spotify episodes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna record exclusive episodes just for Spotify podcasts. So that way I'm not talking about chat and banners and videos and all that other stuff. And then I'm gonna record videos for Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube or whatever. It'll probably be the same topic, just formatted differently. One format for Spotify, another format for Twitch and shit. But both of them is gonna have curses in it, just to let you know. Both of them are gonna be spitting facts that make some people uncomfortable. But yeah, on the Spotify episodes, you just won't hear me talking about chat and banners and videos and stuff. And on this one, we can interact, which is why I started a Discord, because with me doing Spotify podcasts, I really can't interact with anybody like chatting wise unless you're on the podcast. So got the YouTube, got the YouTube, got the Discord. So while I'm doing the Spotify podcast, I'll have my Discord open. You know, you can find the Discord, ask me questions or comment or do whatever you may please. Hang out, shoot the shit with the people that's in there. Um yeah. But that was a cheap plug. But yeah, so this statement might be a little controversial and it might rub a few people the wrong way. Some people might agree with me. But this is just my thought. This is just my logic. When you run a city, I feel like where you should start, we do need to do another Truth Seeker podcast. But you guys are always so busy, y'all being celebrities and everything. Y'all always got things to do, or you always running around, or doing commissions, or doing collabs, or making videos and stuff. I'm not on y'all level yet. So when y'all get free, you let me know, and we can get together and come up with some ideas for an episode. But when you make a city, a lot of people focus on the wrong thing. Yes, you need people in your city. You need criminals and everything. But I feel like the very first thing you should try and recruit is Leos. And I'll tell you why. Because Leos can make or break your city. My ass, I'm far from a celeb. I'll ask my brother about Saturday. All right, cool. You can't do much in the city without Leos, right? The only thing you can do is speed around town and shoot locals and shoot at each other, right? You can't rob stores. You can't rob convenience stores. You can't do a jewelry heist. You can't rob a bank. You can't do none of that shit. People want to focus on recruiting criminals and recruiting civs and recruiting EMS and recruiting this and recruiting that. Your number one goal should be recruiting Leos. Because that's what I'm going to do if I ever start up my own city. I'm looking for Leos first. Fuck everything else, right? It's easy to get people to just fly in the city to check out what's going on, right? But I think, and this is just from a marketing standpoint, right? If you're trying to sell your city, I'm thinking if someone sees that you have 10 plus Leos or 15 plus Leos, and 50 to 70% of people that play RP like being crims, right? So if you're advertising and your one big selling point is you have 10 to 15 plus Leos in your city, 5 to 8 active at all times, to a crim, that's like, fuck, I'll always have something to do because there's always Leos on. I can always do something. I won't be running around corner selling or doing this or doing that. Leos should be everyone's first priority. Then after you get your Leos and you start getting people into the city, then you start getting EMS. Right? People got to learn how to sacrifice one for the other until you build up everything, right? So, me personally, I would sacrifice having EMS to build up the Leos. Why? Because if I'm an owner, I can be anything I want. So while the Leos are doing their job, if someone gets hurt, I can just give myself the EMS role and be EMS, right? Yeah, it's a little more work on me, but hey, if it helps the city grow, why not, right? Then I start building up my EMS. I get an EMS chief. then they get to be in charge of recruiting and hiring for EMS, right? So while they're building up EMS, Leo's is already built. I'll switch myself to mechanic. So that way there's someone to fix the cars when they crash or whatever, you know? And then when I find someone who wants to run mechanic, I turn it over to them. They start recruiting for mechanic. Then I'm left to just maintain and play. That's it, right? It takes work, but if you want a successful city, you got to do the work. And I feel like people like David, people like Cletus, people like Anthony just wanted to be known as owners. They didn't want to put the work in. They didn't want to sacrifice one thing to build up another and then come back to what needed to be built. You can't just have yourself in mind when you build a city. You can't just have this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want, and expect people to come play and stay. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, you can put shit in there that you want as the owner for you. But then you have to remember, you have to put shit in that other people want so they can stay or so they can enjoy their time playing. Because guess what? When people get tired of asking for things and it don't get done, they leave. And that's coming from personal, real life experience. I've seen people leave servers because they wasn't getting what they asked for. They wasn't getting it what they was promised. I've seen people leave servers because someone got placed in a staff position that shouldn't have been placed in the staff position and they didn't know how to handle the responsibility. I seen it. I seen people leave because there wasn't enough cops in the city. I seen cops leave because there wasn't enough crims in the city. I've seen EMS leave because there wasn't nothing for EMS to do. Everything feeds off each other. So if you have no cops, the crims are not going to come. If you have no crims, the EMS is not going to come. And if you have no cops, no crims, no EMS, then the mechanic's not going to come because there's no cars to be fixed. So, I mean, I may not know how to code and dev and all that shit, right? But I know how to make things sound attractive to people. I know how to sell things to people. You got to think of it from a marketing standpoint. And I mean, personally, I haven't seen. I've seen a few people come at it with a marketing like type strategy. But Anthony Cletus and David, I'm gonna say they made the wrong choice when they decided to be city owners. I could be wrong. Who knows? That's just my opinion. Mine and mine alone. So if this video offended anybody, or if this podcast, excuse me, offended anybody, that's what I do best. But yeah. So I'm gonna stay true to my word and make this episode different than the other RP videos. Before I get too deep into it, I'm just gonna end it here. All right. And why I'm gonna end it here is because I'm gonna make a part 2 to this. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be Thursday. I'm going to do an episode or two, a few episodes, and then part two is going to come. Why I'm doing it like that is because one, I'm still gathering some information about some certain issues, and two, I've never done a part two to a RP video. So I'm going to make Mad Rabbit my two-piece exclusive. So, like I said, this will be on Twitch, Spotify, um, Twitter, YouTube. Um, it will not be up on Spotify until Thursday night, maybe even Friday. I gotta listen to it again through Spotify's or Anchor's interface, whatever you want to call it. Make sure the sound's right or whatever. Do a little bit of tweaking, and then it's gonna be put up on Friday. Let's shoot for Friday. Um, Shout outs. Julian, I see you lurking, boy. Shout outs. Redbeard, Blackout, as always. Maestro, Tack, if you're still here. Um, Cat, Catty Nah. I don't know. I probably butchered that. Sorry. Appreciate you for looking. Um, True Dalbird. I appreciate you. Yeah, you didn't think I could see you, huh, Julian? I saw you. Thanks, Blackout. I appreciate that. Uh, Made stand out. One of my sponsors. 365 Habit. Um, Swift Lifestyles. Action Blacktop. Um, yeah, I think that's it. You know what? Let me do it properly or whatever because I got yelled at last time I didn't do it properly. Okay. Action Blacktop. There for all your seal coating and driveway needs. Give them a call. I don't know the number. Actionblacktop.com. That's where you want to go. 365 Habit. Comfortable formal urban wear for the low. Swift Lifestyles. They're like C4. That's what I'm gonna say. Made to stand out. Great clothing company, semi-religious. Started in Chicago, I think. I believe it's Chicago. Yep. So made to stand out. If you're religious and you want some comfortable urban looking clothing but still want to keep it religious, that's who you want to hit up. So with that being said, I am still on my no rating policy because no one ever raids me. So I am still on my no rating policy. So with that being said, I will bid everyone adieu. I said that wrong probably, but yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. But I'll catch you guys on the flippity flap. Um Julian, I will see you tomorrow, sir, bright and early. Um Redbeard, I appreciate you as always. Blackout, I appreciate you. Julian, I appreciate you. Maestro, I appreciate you. Tact, I appreciate you, even though you're not here anymore. Um yeah, and everyone that lurked, I appreciate you guys. And until then, I will see you guys later.